Just recently online, I saw the information that was provided from Colorado football. It's about backup running back Kavosiey Smoke. He put out a tweet, and the title of this article that I'm going to read is called "Colorado's Kavosiey Smoke says selfish Buffaloes could have gone undefeated." Okay, this is big time because remember earlier on in my feeds and my videos, I kept telling you guys that the locker room is fragmented. The fact that he couldn't hold it in, the fact that he actually put out a tweet that he knew would go public should give you guys the indication of how long ago the locker room has been fragmented. All right, he says for selfish play. Now, when I keep talking about Coach Prime padding his son's stats, I told you guys anybody with a brain would see that the team was too talented. He actually felt like they could have gone undefeated. Now, that's a stretch to me. I don't think they would have gone undefeated. I believe that they could have won more games, way more games than four, way more games. Many games that they lost, they could have won. And everybody wants to throw the offensive line under the bus and say, oh, it's their fault. That's the scapegoat. It's selfish play. There's too much talent on that team for that team to lose consecutively like they've been losing and being blown out the building. Most of these games, they're not even competing. Not because they lack the spirit or they lack the fight. It's because of selfishness. Because, i.e., people trying to build their own personal brands and build their own personal narratives. It goes with, see, everything starts to line up. The stars start to align after a while. And for you guys who don't want to see it, you will see it. As time goes on, you're going to start to see this. A player on the team could no longer hold it in. And trust me, he's not the only one that feels that way. He's just the one that actually spoke out loud about it. He had the gall and he had the balls to do it. Again, the title of the article says Colorado Kavosiey Smoke says selfish Buffaloes could have gone undefeated. I'm going to read the article to you guys so you guys could to glean more insight about this. It says Colorado backup running back Kavosiey Smoke apparently believes the Buffaloes could have won every game this season if not for the teammates' selfish mindset. I wonder what teammates he's talking about. All right, moving on. It says Washington State blasted Colorado 56-14 in Pullman, Washington, Friday night, handing the Buffaloes their seventh loss of the season and their fifth straight since defeating Arizona State on October 7th. Smoke, who is in his sixth college football season after spending 5 years at Kentucky, tweeted his thoughts about the program on X meaning Twitter. That's what Twitter used to be called. It's called X, formerly known as Twitter. Saturday morning hours. He tweeted this Saturday morning hours after Colorado's disappointing loss. Simple fact, bruh. This is what he said. Quote. This is the text. He said. This is the quote that he put out on X. He said, "Simple fact, bruh. We could have went undefeated this year. Too much selfish ball going on, man. Can't win like that. 100. Got to play and win as a team. But if you go the other route, you get results like this." Smoke, and that's what Smoke wrote. Smoke hasn't seen the field beyond special teams duty in 2 carries for Colorado this season. A day before Colorado's 34-31 loss to Arizona on November 11th, Smoke tweeted about his limited playing time with the program. Now, this is what he said, quote, he says, hurt, I did not get to show you all my real talent that I know I got. That's what Smoke wrote on November 10th. That's actually my birthday. Prior to joining the Buffaloes, Smoke registered 1,583 yards in 5 seasons with the Wildcats. Now think about that. He's a running back in the SEC. We understand that SEC is known to be like the best conference in terms of the depth of the teams, the talent pool, especially those dogs in the middle, the offensive lines and defensive lines. A lot of NFL prospects are taken from the SEC. Here's a running back that averaged over 1,500 yards in 5 seasons with the Wildcats with Kentucky. So all of a sudden he comes to Colorado and doesn't even touch the field. Yeah, he runs the ball twice and he's on special teams. That is a spit in the face of a guy with that much talent. That's just him. I'm not even talking about Alton McCaskill. I'm not even talking about him. He had to redshirt. Remember, Alton McCaskill just says, man, I'm out. That's what I mean by selfishness. When your passion for certain players blinds you to the other areas of your team, you're not squeezing the lemon to get all the juice out of that lemon. You have a lemon that's full of juice, but you're not maximizing it, Coach Prime, because of your selfishness. Does that mean that you're incompetent? No, it just means that you have an agenda, you have a goal, you have a small amount of guys on your team that you're aiming to build a brand off of or build a brand with. We all know who they are. Your three sons, your two biological sons, and the one that you adopted and you call your son, Travis Hunter. Everybody else is just eh. And even have your other son, Well Off Media. It's a marketing machine. It's not about football. It's about entertainment. It's Hollywood. And this is why it's never going to translate to success on the field. I'll tell you guys this. We're going to spend more time talking about things that are not football related than we are going to be talking about things that are actually football related. Because that's how a circus is spun. Because the stage is already being set. Remember the other video that I made about Prime saying that other recruits, other coaches are going around telling other recruits that Coach Prime is not going to be at Colorado too long, and that they're doing things like that to gain an unfair advantage to steal recruits from Colorado? No, that's not the case. Recruits can do whatever the hell they want. It's up to you to just out recruit the other people. It's hearsay. Anybody can say anything. So everything's always set up to buffer the reality that Colorado and Coach Prime is going to face next year. And mark my words, guys, next year has the potential. I'm predicting that next year may be worse than this year. Not in terms of wins and losses, but in terms of the expectations going up, because the expectations are going to increase after this year. Even though Prime came in talking about, I want to dominate, I want to win. He won 3 straight games out the gate. And all of a sudden, the whole world is following Colorado. The hype train is at its apex, and everyone is talking about Prime. Everyone's talking about we believe and we come in, and all of a sudden, the train just crashes. So what I think next year, now that people have been humbled to a certain degree and reality has set in, people start to understand, okay, this is not going to be as easy as we thought. But needless to say, however, next year, the expectations are going to be higher than what this year's was. The outcome of this year. So before Prime comes, they're 1-11. Prime comes his first year, they end up being 4-8 because they're going to lose out. They're going to lose to Utah too. So they're going to be 4-8. Next season, trust me, he has to win at least 8 games. He has to win at least 8 games. He has to be 4 games better than he is now, because he no longer has the excuse like, this is my first year. You're Coach Prime. You're bringing in your Louis luggage. Now you have Louis luggage times 2. Louis luggage exponentialized to the second power. Now they're coming with you. You better bring it because people are recruiting. So it's not going to be an excuse. If he wins like 5 or 6 games next year, yeah, Coach Prime's going to become a laughingstock of the college football fraternity of the coaches. He will be, and you can already see it slowly happening with his son. It's going to go from his son to him. Look how many. If you guys go back and look at that game against Washington State, and look how many times, every time that somebody did something good for Washington State, what were they doing? They were just doing the Shador. They're putting it back in y'all's faces. Colorado came in with a lot of hype. They were flashy. Now that you guys are getting trounced, people are spitting back in your face, disrespecting you and your son, Coach Prime, shoving it up in your face, rubbing it in. I mean, every little thing that they did, they were just doing the Shador. It almost seems like their whole team was doing the Shador. The crowd yelling overrated. And they're justified in saying that. You came in rating yourself too high. But the rating yourself high is not the problem. The problem is the selfishness that corrupted the team, the cancer in the locker room. The locker room has been divided. Don't let the well-off media stuff that you see when he's selectively talking to certain people paint the picture that the team is together in the locker room. They're not. The team is divided. It's the haves and the have-nots. It's the guys who have all the UIL deals, the guys that are getting all the accolades, and everybody else. And everybody sees it. It's Shiloh, Shador, Travis, and then it's the rest. Maybe you can add Horn and Dylan Edwards in that mix. They're like 1B. 1A is Shador, 1A is Shiloh, 1A is Travis Hunter. 1B is Dylan Edwards, the other 1B is Horn. Maybe Xavier. Everybody else is meh. So there you go. So this is a guy, Kavosiey Smoke, who was an NFL prospect, running back in the SEC. So you're trying to tell me all of a sudden he can't run, but you could put him on special teams though. So the excuse is not that he's hurt. It's amazing what agendas and the attempt of building brands can do to a team that's very talented. He's right. I don't think that Kavosiey Smoke is speaking hyperbolic. Now, personally, I don't think they would have went undefeated, but he feels that way because he knows the talent in that he's privy to things that we are not privy to. I see the team. The team is not that bad. They're not that bad. Even with the offensive line struggles, I've always said if you utilize your running backs, the game will be easier. That's what you have running backs for. They support the passing game. The passing game and the running game, they feed off of one another. That's what football is about. You just don't play one-sided and just run the ball a couple of times and say, hey, we ran it. They were never intentional with using those running backs at all. It was a waste of time. And I think that those kids were sold a lie. They came there with the intention to help Colorado win. You think Alton McCaskill left U of H to come to Colorado just to rot the pine? You think Kavosiey Smoke left at SEC to follow Prime just to never run the ball? All right, guys. I just know this. Let's speak hypothetically here for you guys. So for some of you who are slow to kind of connect the dots here, let me ask you guys a question and answer this sincerely. If Kavosiey Smoke's name was Kavosiey Sanders, do you think that Kavosiey Smoke will only run the ball twice this year? I'm going to give you a second to answer the question. I'm going to ask the question again. If Kavosiey Smoke's name was Kavosiey Sanders and he was Coach Sanders' son, do you think that Kavosiey Smoke would only run the ball twice this year? What about if his son was Alton Sanders, not Alton McCaskill? If his last name was Sanders, do you think Alton McCaskill would have been? Would have even gotten to the chance to say I want a red shirt? Do you think that would happen to a Sanders? No. That's what I mean by nepotism. He's only looking out for his own, but it's obvious, it's blatantly obvious that it's not about coaching football. It's not about building a legacy as a coach. It's building a brand to help build your legacy, and that's an ass backwards approach. If you are a coach, you have to be 110% in, and then out of that investment that you put in, then things start to extrapolate from that investment that you initially put in. I've always told people, if you work hard in life, success will find you. You don't have to be the smartest person. Just outwork the next person, and success will just come your way. It's the law of the universe, folks. It's the law of the universe. That's ridiculous, man. This guy left the SEC to come to Colorado not to even play. And don't say that he's saying this out of frustration because of playing time. He's not being selfish here. He's being honest. He's talking, hey, it's not that these players all want to outshine each other. Remember earlier on in the year in well-off media when they were talking to all the running backs, I think they talked to Dylan Edwards, and they gave an interview. He was saying how like it doesn't matter who gets the ball, that they're all talented, that they have fast guys, they have big guys. I remember like it was yesterday, and Dylan was very, very specific in the way he spoke. He says, no, like we're a team, we feed off each other, like we know we're gonna be good. Like we know we have it all. We have all the dimensions of what a running team should have. We have fast guys, we have big guys, we have power guys, we have guys who can catch out the backfield. You have it all. Now, some of you guys may say, well, there's only one ball. You can't give them all. Yeah, you can. You can mix it all up. Whatever package you could call it for a specific player. If you're playing against a team that's very stout on the defensive line, then you can allow a bigger back to run. If you're playing against a team that's not that stout on the defensive line, you let Dylan Edwards eat them up. You had the personnel, Coach Prime. You just never used it because your mom was so caught up in padding your son's stats and hooking up Travis Hunter with those pass plays. Again, yesterday, remember I talked about the first play of the game. You throw a 1-yard pass. I've never seen that. You gained 4 yards on the first run. So much for we can't run the ball. You gained 4 yards. So now it says 1st and 10, you gained 4 yards, now it's 2nd and 6. Run the ball again. Let's say you gain 3 yards. What is it going to be? What is it going to be? 3rd and... So if it's 2nd and 6 and you gain 3 yards, it's going to be 3rd and what? 3rd and what? Exactly. It'd be a manageable 3rd down. And then the options of your playbook is opened up because the defense can't predict that it's going to be definitely a pass play because it's not 3rd and long, it's 3rd and short. So that's what Kavosiey Smoke said, man. And however, I'm gonna continue reading here. Say, however, uh he was never the lead running back for Kentucky. And this was without him being the lead running back for Kentucky, playing behind standouts such as Benny Snell Jr. and Chris Rodriguez. Now, Smoke will prepare to play in his last collegiate game on November 25th when Colorado, 4-7 record with a 1-7 Pac-12 record, goes on the road to face number 22 Utah, who is 7-3 and 4-3 in the Pac-12 at Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City. So there you go. And he's probably gonna be reprimanded, but I don't think he gives a damn. He just had to let it out. I told you guys, when you keep things in, it's toxic. It eats you up. And trust me, he didn't just have this epiphany like last game. He just couldn't take it anymore. This is probably, I think probably after when they started going on that long losing streak, I think that's when it started to sit in. I think even when I pivoted, if you look back at my older videos, I was all, yeah, come on, Colorado. When I started to see the things that Coach Prime was doing, I switched. I pivoted. When I get new information, I move off quickly. It doesn't mean that I'm a flip-flopper. It just means that I have more information. So now, if I have more information, I'm going to predicate my decisions and predicate my affinity or my stance based upon the information that I have. If I'm ignorant about a matter, I'm going to operate ignorantly. But if I'm informed, I'm going to operate like a person that's informed. I'm going to leave my emotions out of it because emotions has nothing to do with truth. Truth doesn't mingle in with emotions. They don't mix. The truth sometimes hurts. And you have to be able to be humble enough and tell your audiences or whoever you're talking to, like, look, I don't feel the same way I used to feel because now I have more information. It's okay. It's okay to quote unquote switch your mindset. That people want to, hurl out terms like, oh, you're a flip-flopper. No, I'm not a flip-flopper. I'm just a person that's thinking critically and I pivot based upon the information that I have. So there you have it, Kavosiey Smoke. He is attributing selfishness of the Colorado's team of why they are losing the games that they're losing. And he says that they could have went undefeated if the Buffaloes were not selfish. And you guys could put 2 and 2 together who he's talking about. Take care. Thank you guys for listening. Leave a comment below. And thank you guys for listening. All right, bye.